Now, Russia has accused Ukraine of carrying out a drone strike on a hotel in the southern Kherson region, killing at least 24 people, celebrating the New Year. The attack has sparked renewed tensions between the two nations. And according to Vladimir Saldo, the Russia-appointed governor of the Kherson region, 3 drones struck a cafe and hotel on the Black Sea's coast in Kherson, where more than 100 revelers were celebrating the New Year. Calling the strike deliberate, Vladimir Saldo said that many had been burnt alive in the fire. Russia's investigative committee has said that it has opened a probe into the attack. Images posted on its Telegram channel show a building gutted by fire with piles of rubble and charred remains scattered across the site. The buildings show signs that a fierce fire had raged, and there were what looked like bloodstains on the ground. At least one dead body was seen covered beneath a white sheet. The Russian Foreign Ministry has condemned the attack, calling it a terrorist attack and warning Kyiv of appropriate consequences. They have also urged international organizations to condemn the attack and accuse Ukraine of deliberately sabotaging peace talks. According to the Kremlin spokesperson, Russian President Putin was briefed by Kherson governor about the situation and progress of the investigation into the attack. Saldo told the president that investigators are working to identify the deceased victims with names to be published on the regional government's website. The Russian Ministry of Defense also reported that air defenses intercepted 201 Ukrainian drones in the last 7 hours, including 21 aimed at Moscow. On the other hand, a Russian strike in the Kharkiv region has left 1 person injured and killed several animals in the wildlife park. The park's director, Ivan Dostov, described the scene as chaotic, saying the animals were terrified and that while birds had been killed, the exact number remains unknown. Meanwhile, Russia says it has decoded data from a Ukrainian drone that attempted to target Putin's residence in Novgorod region. Deputy Chief of Russia's General Staff, Admiral Igor Kostyukov, announced the findings and released images showing him handing U.S. officials the drone's control mechanisms.
We'd like to inform you that we've found the wreckage of the drones that carried out this attack. The navigation systems of some of these drones are well preserved and technically functional. A decryption of the memory contents of the navigation controllers of these drones, performed by specialists from Russian intelligence agencies, has irrefutably confirmed that the target of the attack was the complex of buildings housing the Russian president's residence in the Novgorod region.
Ukraine and U.S. have disputed Russia's account of the attempted strike. Ukraine has accused Russia of driving a wedge between Kyiv and Washington after a weekend meeting between Trump and Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky.
Боевая часть данного беспилотника представляет хвостовую часть. Данный беспилотный аппарат мы имеем не разорвавшийся.
And well, we were earlier joined by Giorgio Cafiero. He is a professor at Georgetown University and CEO of Gulf State Analytics. And we discussed upon this, and here's what he had to say.
You know, I think the first thing to point out about this attack is that this plays out very emotionally in Russia, in Russian culture. As a consequence of Soviet history, New Year's is a very, very special holiday, even more so than Christmas. So there's a very emotional layer here that needs to be appreciated. But to get to your question, this is definitely going to undermine the hopes of some sort of a diplomatic push, hopes that some diplomatic momentum will be in play as we start 2026. I'm confident that Russia will respond very forcefully, and I'm sure Ukraine will respond to that. And it makes it more difficult for us to imagine this war winding down.